Jackie with Loco-Motion. I'm here to present to you a movement series. Like with all of my movement series, we focus on the fact that when we move one thing, we move everything. We're going to be expanding flexibility, mobility, and agility. And on this particular sequence, we are going to aim at connecting movement from lower body to upper body via the trunk so that you can feel a kinetic chain, which is like a wave of movement, so that when the lower body is activated via the trunk, we can pluck in the upper body so that everything moves in synchronicity. Like with all movement practice, there's a volume to it. You can go deeper or lesser in your movement, but these movements are for the everyday mover. All you're gonna need is a stick. You can use a broomstick. You can use anything that's a little bit wider than your shoulders. And the purpose of the stick is to engage your arm line. And so the way you're holding it is not by tightening up your shoulders, but resting the shoulders, and not by gripping the stick, but to slightly feel like you're pulling it apart when you're holding it. Now the arms, whenever we rise them, are not lifting the shoulders, so that they're more like a rain stick, like the music instrument, so that your arms, when the bar is over your head, is just hanging, and that they're floating back into the socket. So get what you need and we'll get started. Our first movement is a warm-up. So we're going to be in a tight stance, so our feet are together, slight internal rotation. You bring the stick above your head, and we're going to go into this same feeling. My arms are not lifting up by my shoulders, I'm resting them down, and I feel like I'm splitting the bar away, the stick away. And from here, by moving my lower body, not my arms, I will be leaning to my right and feeling how, with using the stick and splitting it apart, I can stretch my whole body from my right pinky toe all the way up to my right fingers. And I do a half circle behind me so that I can go over to the other side. So you'll see in my transitions, I create this semi-circle to the other side. And so go ahead and move from side to side. And you really want to soften. We're in the flexibility portion, so we don't need muscles to become flex. Actually, what we want to become more flexible is to rest in the movement. To rest just enough that there is tension without contraction. And I soften my movement as I move, and I let my head go along for the ride and sort of create a bit of a dance with it. So you can stay longer, you can move faster, whatever it is that your body needs, but you really want to feel like it's the side of the arc that's creating the depth of the movement. Yeah, and so we can use the breath with it, inhaling as you transition, exhaling as you dive into the sensation. A couple of more times. Really push off the ground, so you're pushing into the ground so that you can feel that connection, upper and body movement. And everything moves as a whole. One last time onto the left. Dive into it. And then go ahead and take the stick as wide as you need to start to bring it behind you. So I'm creating this motion like a semicircle behind me. And you want to do this without sticking the ribs out. So I bring my ribs back in, so I engage my deep core line, and from there, create any movement possible without letting go of the stick, and connecting movement into the lower body. So my lower body is not static, it's responding. And as you get warmed up, you can start to create these same half circles with the bar behind you, again, without sticking your ribs forward, without disconnecting the torso from the pelvis. Yes, here we are. And so now from here, we're ready to create a bit of a corkscrew movement and start to create a movement. So the movement starts in my lower body into my legs, and it spins through my torso all the way into my arms. And I can hold the bar quite close, depending on my shoulder opening. and I let that lower hip movement carry through into my torso and to the other side. So it's one big swirling movement that you're creating to warm up the whole kinetic chain from the bottom to the top. Great. And then from here we're going to row our boat. So coming in, you dive in first, coming in, diving in, and then roll up and row the boat as if you were seated. So coming down and then tuck that chin in and roll back up. So the whole movement is one big spinal curve. Diving down, rolling up, diving down, rolling up, exhaling on the way down, inhaling on the way up. Great. And finishing our tight stand series, we're going to go into a tabletop. So here I really want to not bring my stick forward, but I bring my hips back. And as I bring my hips back, I keep my legs straight, not locked, not hyperextended, but I keep my legs straight. And I also want to keep the back of my neck long so that I'm not kinking my head. So I lean back, and I hold here. And again, my shoulders are relaxed, and I feel like I want to create more space between my sitting bones and the stick that I'm holding so that I'm becoming longer. My legs are straight. They're not locked, but they're straight. I'm elongating the whole back line. And then I'm going to bring the stick under my chest and keep the same position, but then have little dips that we're going to call the good morning dips here. 3, 4, up to 10, 8, 9, 10. Back to extension. One thing moves back, the pelvis. One thing moves forwards, the hands, but the shoulders stay relaxed. And I come back in. Dip. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extend. Extend, lengthen. You're going to feel that in the back of your legs and your hamstrings, and behind your knees. And back in last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Extend, extend, and roll back up. Similar situation. Now we're going into a wide stand series. So my feet are quite wider. I'm going to turn my right foot forward and then connect my arm line. So again, I don't want my ribs to stick forward, so I connect my arm line as if I'm pulling my stick away, and I'm going to kink here at my pelvis. So first I kink my pelvis and create this round shape all the way from behind your shoulder blades, and then I dip down. Dip down, dip down, dip down, create that half shape that we did at the beginning. And then using your core body, reverse it and look up. Dip down, hang out, and back up. So it's the feeling of sinking into the feet, dipping the hip, following through, all the way, split that bar away as if you're trying to make it wider, and without losing that sensation, come back up. 2 more times. Using your core body to lift up and getting that nice stretch in the front leg on the way down. Come to the center. Do 1 roll to reset. And other side. I spin my left foot, kink at the hip, and come down. And back up. Down. You almost want to go see under your right armpit. And then you want to go see under your left armpit. Exhale down. Inhale up. And up. Of course you can do many more, but we'll present to you all the movements first. Then from here, we're going to go into half circle. So now my feet are not so wide, a little bit up at an angle, and I'm going to come down as I was going down the triangle. And so here I'm going to go down to my right and go see under my left armpit. Then I spin my stick and I go see around my right armpit and I do my half circles in this way. Left, hang, right, left, right, left, right. Next time you come into the left, hold it. So I'm looking under my left armpit. I'm going to use the same feeling of coming up and splitting my bar away as I did in the triangle, and then all the way to the other side. Now I'm looking under my right armpit and I shift. Left, all the way up, down, left, up. You can go fast or slow. Last time all the way down. And then we finish where we started. Change transition. I look into my right armpit, all the way up. Left. Spin. Up. So I really want to see under my armpit before I do my transition. And I want to engage looking under my armpit before I come back up. So I'm using all of my torso and I'm splitting that bar apart. Last time. I'm going to finish all the way up. Woo! Yes. Relax your arms for a moment. Come in not as wide. Feet again, a little bit of like a 15-degree angle. And then similar as what we did with the straight legs, the tight stand. Now we're going to move back with the legs wide so we address a different hamstring in the meantime. So the movement comes from my pelvis moving back. My legs are straight, not locked, not hyperextended, and not bent either. So I bring in that kink into the pelvis, extend forward, and hold. My shoulders are far away from my ears, and I'm splitting the bar apart into my hands. I'm engaging my core. And I hold, and I hold, and I hold. Then I come up, same thing, under my clavicles, and I'm going to dip 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extend. Breathe. Relax the shoulders, relax the head. We don't want to kink the back of the neck. And then for dipping here, let's come up. Bring the stick behind your head. So you want to feel like your head is pushing back into the stick as you come down and dip without losing that connection behind your head. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up, extension. Extend. Shoulders are far away from the ears. I split my bar apart. I'm relaxing. My pelvis is behind my heels. And dip under the clavicles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forward. Extend and hold. Relax the shoulders. Deep breath. Come all the way up behind the head. Feel that connection. Head moving into the bar. And dip. 8, 9, 10. Come all the way up. Last time. Extension forward. And hold. Relax the shoulders. Relax. Under the clavicles and dip. 7, 8, 9, 10. All the way up behind the head. Dip. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extension. And relax. Your legs are going to shake all the way up and shake it out. Next, we're going to move into some squat series to open up the legs again using the stick. And so the first position, this time we are putting the bar, the stick, in my pelvis. All right? And so I'm going to come up onto my heels. And we're going to call this position the toe position. Now, I want to plant my belly onto my thigh as I move into my heels. And I let go of my head. Then I balance and I come up onto my toes. And I pluck my arms back so they're not leaning forward. I pluck them back. I pluck
and I lift. Forward, heels, down, toes, arms straight, arms up, arms straight, toes. Really feel that core connection holding the bar. So you can't cheat here into the forward fold. And you keep moving back and forth from these three positions. Heels, toes, pluck, up, down, and in. If you have a medicine ball at home, you could be doing this with a 5 or 6 pound medicine ball. Bring it down. And then once you hear an up, you can throw it, catch it, up, throw it, catch it, down. 2 more times. Up. And up. Lift up and shake. Woo! Now we're going to open up the squat. So coming down onto my right heel, left heel, right heel, left heel. So now here you'll see I have my elbows in the inside of my knees. So there's this connection here where my knee pushes into my elbow pushes into my knee on both sides. And I'm bringing the stick apart. And I'm going to go lift up my toes, lift up my right foot. So again, I'm going heel, toe, heel, toe. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Now I'm going to plant the stick onto the right. Come onto the right, look under your armpit as far back as you can, and transition again. Up and back. Look under, back to center, and up, shake up the legs. And we resume the same position of the half squat, and I'm going to extend, so now I'm on my right heel, I extend my left foot, and here I go, I'm going to make a transition to the other side. So I want to use a stick, and it's like when we did into the extension, I move my pelvis back, and I come up onto my left foot. Extension. Here, I'm in that same squat extension as I did with my legs straight. And I transition from side to side. I'm going to plant onto the right, just like we did with the squat. Look under my armpit. Other side. And transition. Just transition. Keep it low. You can go up higher if you need. And look under. Look under. Back under. Under. Stay to the center. Up. Shake it up. Woo. 2 more squats. So this is a classic squat where we're going to come down into here. And I'm going to throw my stick and catch it. So I'm bouncing into my squat. What I want in my squat is that there is a little dip into my lower back so that I'm not rounding my lower back, and I catch, and if I want, I can jump with it or just stay here. 3, 4, and 5. Back up. Woo! If your legs are not burning, you can just do a lot longer, or you repeat the sequence. And our last squat, dip, kick. So here I'm going to use the bar as like a cross. I make the biggest circle possible, and I'm going to come land my foot behind me and hold. 1, 2, 3. So let's do that a few times. Other side. So I counter lateral, big circle, land the foot behind, dip. In here. Other side, try it again. Big circle, land. Easy enough. Left side, counter lateral. Try to get this big circle as you can. You use the bar for balance. and back in. So we're gonna add a kick to that. Right leg, up. Get that big hip circle. Use the bar for balance. Land, pounds 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna keep diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one, 5. Back to center. Other side. Counterlateral, use the stick for balance. Land. 1, 2, 3, and kick. 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 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Back to center. So we're going to go into our abs using the stick again. So the first one, just like we did standing, we did row your boat. So I come back and I'm going to come up with my legs straight and imagine that there's a wall about this height and I want to crawl under this wall and come back out and then row my boat. Row under the wall, down, back, lift, crawl under. I'm going to do 10 of those. 4. You really want to be controlled all the way down. And then really imagine that wall, which brings you to duck your chin under, so that you're using again the whole kinetic chain. And with my stick, I'm still trying to spread it apart, which engages my deep core line and my arm lines. We've got 4 more. Exhale, inhale, inhale, exhale. 2 more. Control down. Last one. And all the way down. Now this time what we're going to do is skip over the stick. So I'm going to come up into a boat position. So I'm balancing on my sitting bones. And I'm going to go under, over. Under, exhale, under. Inhale, exhale. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Point your toes on the way down. 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Woo. Stretch it out. Roll the legs. 2 more abs. So the next one is a bit of a sneak peek. So I have my bar and I'm planting my elbows onto the ground and I want to go up and see my toes. So it's like peeking over the bar and I lift up my toes and then I'm just going to do little pads, little pushes with my feet. My toes are pointed and then my toes are flexed. Pointed for 5, flex for 5. Pointed for 5, flex. 1 of each, pointed, flex. And hug your knees. Woo! Very good. You can always do longer, more reps. And the last one for our stick series here, I'm going to bring this stick behind my head. My elbows are on the ground. And just like I did with my extensions, I feel like the stick is pushing into my head and my head is pushing into the stick. And in here we're going to do some big circles. So kick up, circle, kick up, circle, up, down. So I wait, I engage my leg up, bring it down. Up, half circle, up. And then you can start to feel like you're doing some kind of a bicycle where you are engaging the leg on the way down. Let's go 5 more. 2, 3, 4, Stay here. Put your knees together and half circles. So I've got my tibias together, and I'm just rolling on my pelvis and counter movement for my feet. And my head is following my heels. And hug your knees. Woo! Excellent. We're going to start with the seated row your boat. So just like we did standing and now with the abs. So I feel like I'm coming up here and I'm going to come down and roll back up. And then on my next way down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here and I'm going to use my fingertips without looking, your head is down, just showing you. And I roll with my fingertips the bar as far as I can take it. And I roll it back. So I'm doing little pulses by using the stick, just even a millimeter. See if I can roll it over to my toes. And if I can get a nice stretch by pulling onto the stick. Roll it back. And then you might be able to feel like you're going a little further and a little further each time. Getting that nice low back release. Again, I can't try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Roll, roll, roll. Get a nice stretch out of it. Very nice. And then from here, I'm going to do using the stick again behind my feet and using that pressure of my feet onto the stick, I can tuck and roll. And on the next one, I'm going to use the stick and come and place it behind my back so that I can slide my shoulders over and then use the stick to go a little bit further. I can hold it here into more of a candle. I can use the stick behind my legs, behind my knees, and bring myself with a tuck and roll into a position that I can rest into. You can rest the knees onto your forehead. You can open the knees on each side and use the stick to get what you need out of it, rolling the ankles to get into a nice therapeutic depth. And then from here, we are going to create the legs nice and wide. And you might want to sit on something if you feel like you're rounding back. Sometimes it helps to have a little cushion or even just rolling your mat so that you have like a little forward movement. And you want to feel like your big toes are moving in, not the legs are not falling out, so you're engaging. And again, using the stick, similar to what we did with the quad, with the squat, I bring my stick to my leg, and I'm looking under my armpit, and I try to push the stick away. And for my transition, the head is down, transition to the other side, and hold. And hold in that way that I'm again getting that nice lateral stretch. And here a couple more times, really relax into the stretch. And then take the stick and bring it behind you so you're sort of sitting on it, which will automatically give you that forward tilt that is helpful in forward folds. Tuck into your big toes, so grab your 2 fingers, tuck your toes, and then a little bit of a butterfly, and then bring your elbows into your inner thigh or inner leg and give it a push and rest down. And still sitting on my stick, I'm going to bring my right leg bent but quite open, and my left leg is flexed. And here I'm going to take my torso and turn. So not my shoulders, not rolling my shoulders. I'm taking my torso and I'm turning my belly button towards my straight leg, and then you catch onto your leg wherever you can, so that you can feel that I can feel my left side pushing back as my right side wraps forward. So the left side pulling back is just as important as the right side spinning forward. Rest. You can use your left hand to anchor to really help that left side pulling back. And then switch it to the other side. So my left leg is bent, quite open. My right leg is straight. And then it's going to be about my right side pulling back as my left side wraps forward. And wherever you can lock in, and then my right hand can anchor far away to really help that right side pushing back. Soften and melt into, and always adding micro movement. It's never static. So these little exploration movements as you're in a stretch are what allows you to deepen the sensation little by little, and to always micro adjust and finding little nooks and crannies that you can shape into. So this completes our Loco-Motion Broomstick Series. Take a moment to lie down onto your back and to completely let go of your contractions, your hips, your shoulders, your head. Breathe softly for at least 5 minutes before you get up and go back into your day. Hope to see you again for Loco-Motion.